Hello, family members. Welcome to part 3 of tracing the origin of Efik people. I ended the last part by telling us that Adiabó Iboku moved from Igbo lands and settled in present-day Uruan, and the story has been interesting all through this series. So if you missed part 1 and part 2, I'm leaving the links to those videos in the description box so you can watch them and then you'll be able to understand what I'll be telling you today. So for today, we're going to discuss events that happened in Uruan. Adiabó Iboku had 3 children, 2 males and 1 female. It was in Uruan that the proverbial Tiaba were formed, and it was his grandchildren from his 2 sons that became the ancestors of these 7 clans. And the 7 clans include Iboku, Obutóñ, Adiabó, Mbiabó, Eñwañ, Abayen, and Usukakpa. As we all know, when people live together, people from different tribes who hold different religious beliefs, there's bound to be friction. So there was a disagreement between the Iboku people and their Uruan hosts over objects of worship. And the Iboku people had to move up. There was even a war. The Iboku people had to move away from Uruan in the second half of the 14th century. All 7 clans settled in Eñwañ. From Eñwañ, Mbiabó people moved away to establish alone, and they divided themselves into 2 groups. One group headed up, and that group is known as Mbiabó. Another group, the second group, headed down, and that group is known as Mbiabó also. For clarity's sake, we know Mbiabó today as Ikorofioñ. I hope you can relate. The remaining 6 clans moved away from Eñwañ to create a distance between them and their Uruan and Ibibio enemies. So they got to Ndodogi Island and settled there. 3 major tragedies befell our people in Ndodogi Island. The first one was the Great Malaria Epidemic that nearly wiped out the entire race. The second one was the cotton tree accident. The gist is that the Abayen and Usukakpa clan were having a meeting under a cotton tree, and the tree fell on them and greatly depleted them. A lot of people lost their lives. That was the second tragedy. And then the last one was the outbreak or the appearance of something called Halley's Comet. Now, if you're wondering what Halley's Comet is, a comet is a bright object with a very long tail that travels round the sun every 75 to 79 years, according to astronomers. And Halley is the name of the astronomer who came to this conclusion after reading reports of previous comets. He was the one that concluded that comets are likely to reoccur after a certain number of years. And according to astronomers, when Halley's comet occurs, it can sterilize the earth and kill every living thing. But God forbid that should happen again. So that's the gist. The malaria epidemic, the cotton tree accident, and the appearance of the Halley's comet. In the 3rd quarter of the 14th century, the Eñwañ clan, along with their greatly depleted brothers from Abayen and Usukakpa, don't forget that Abayen and Usukakpa suffered the cotton tree accident, which greatly reduced their numbers. So along with Eñwañ, they moved to the region called Calabar today, and thus became the founders of the region called Calabar. Now, Eñwañ clan, being larger in numbers, split into 2 groups and settled in 2 villages. A personality called ancestral obtained 2 deities. My earring fell off, but we move. Alright, so a personality known as ancestral obtained 2 deities from God knows where, named one after himself as Anantara and named the other one after his only sister, Anantara. He built a shrine in Iyonde, which is known as Anantara today. That's Anantara Beach for the male deity, which is Anantara, and then built another shrine at the place called Kalsemko today for Anansa. Usukakpa clan stayed in present-day Tete Street in Calabar. These were the formative years of the great history of the city of Calabar. What we have today, or what we know today, is the 12 clans of Efik. That is Esene Fakubeba. The other 5 clans, I had either mentioned them directly or indirectly in my previous episodes, and they include Itu, Ito, Enióñ, Ukwa, and Eki. So, in conclusion, if you claim that you are an Efik person, you must be able to trace your genealogy either paternally or maternally to the founding ancestor of the Efik tribe, that is Iboku, through the major ancestors and founders of the 12 ancestral clans of Efik. Without that, I am sorry, as Yarmo, ask questions again. Thank you very much for watching my video to this point. I want to believe you've watched the first and second part of this series because it's important for you to be able to follow up with what I've said. If you enjoyed this video, please give me the thumbs up to encourage me to bring you more content like this, and kindly subscribe. All right, and I'll see you very soon with another interesting video on culture. Enjoy your weekend. Bye bye.